So, I'm always talking about instincts, intuition, our direct sense perceptions of reality as safeguarding response systems there to protect us from danger. And today I want to talk about this book here from the famous Gavin de Becker, who is the author of The Gift of Fear. This one is called Protecting the Gift, Keeping Children and Teenagers Safe and Parents Sane. So, this is about safety and survival skills for children. Now, those responses are there to keep us safe. Gavin de Becker talks about this. Intuition, the root of that word is to guard, to protect. So, what is something else that gets in the way of us being able to listen to that safeguarding response system? One of those things is denial. We see this in the Little Red Riding Hood story that I'm always talking about. The problem for Little Red is not that she doesn't see. She sees the big eyes, she sees the big ears, she sees the big teeth. The problem is that she denies what she sees. Gavin de Becker says, just as intuition protects us from danger, denial protects us from something too. Unwanted information. Denial serves to eliminate the discomfort of accepting realities that we would rather not acknowledge. Now, this happens when it comes to transgender ideology. We've talked about it in the form of preferred pronouns, but we need to talk about it in the larger context of what people do to deny the reality of the physical circumstances of men and what is happening when men are invading women and girls' private spaces. What is happening when denial happens? The signals of denial. What are those signals? Rationalization, justification, minimization, excuse making, and refusal. So, if you find yourselves doing one of those things in response to gender ideology, you are in a space of denial. So let's go through each of these things. Here is an example of a rationalization. Some men have women's brains, they have opposite sex brains. No, my boundary is still there. No, I am talking about men's physical circumstances. I am talking about their sex. They do not belong in women's spaces based on those. Okay, let's talk about justification. Trans women are not safe in men's spaces. No, I do not care. That is not women and girls' responsibility. Women and girls are not human shields for men who are unsafe in men's spaces. Minimization. Trans women are less likely to commit crime. Regardless of whether or not that is true, men do not belong in women's spaces. Do not minimize the threat that men pose and the threat that men who normalize men in women's spaces pose. Excuse making. Trans women can no longer be in men's room because they have given themselves extreme body modifications. No, I don't care. They are responsible for their choices. They can find a unisex if they look like women and don't feel like they can go in there. That is not an excuse to be in women's spaces. And the last one is refusal. Well, you're just saying that because you're a bigot. So they're refusing to even grapple with what you are saying. And it doesn't matter. Regardless of your judgment of me, I am talking about how men do not belong in women's spaces because of their physical circumstances. So if you see anyone using these tools against you, rationalization, justification, minimization, excuse making, or refusal, they are in a state of denial about the reality of the situation, and you should not be drawn yourself down that path. Continue to hold your boundary when it comes to these things. If you want to read more, please go to my Substack, www.theknownheretic.com. If you have other topics that you would like me to address, please put them in the comments. Thank you so much.